In today's video, we are going to reveal James Webb Telescope's discoveries that shocked the entire space industry. When we think of telescopes, the first thing that surely comes to mind is the Hubble telescope, which was considered the most powerful telescope man ever made. But not until December 2021, when NASA launched the next-generation telescope, the James Webb Telescope, which is 100 times more powerful than the Hubble telescope. And after months of collecting photos in space, the telescope revealed a shocking truth about the universe. The James Webb Space Telescope, or the JWST, was made by NASA's premier scientists in collaboration with the European Space Agency and the Canadian Space Agency. And the construction of the telescope was led by Northrop Grumman, an advanced aerospace and defense company. NASA decided in 2002 to name the telescope after its former administrator, James E. Webb. James Webb was an American government official who served as an undersecretary of the state from 1949 to 1952. He then became the second NASA administrator between 1961 and 1968, during which he administered most of the Apollo missions, which pioneered manned missions in space. He believed that NASA had to strike a balance between human spaceflight and science, and it is only befitting to name the telescope after the person who most contributed to science than any other government official. James Webb Telescope's predecessor, the Hubble telescope, was launched in 1990 and has revolutionized the next generation of space science. The Hubble telescope, with its greatest discoveries at the time, including the realization of the universe expanding, overturned scientists' expectations and led them to the Big Bang model for the birth of the universe. The Hubble telescope was in use until 2022, when it was replaced with the more powerful James Webb Telescope. The idea of the James Webb Telescope actually started way back in 1989, even before the Hubble telescope was released, and was tagged the Next Generation Space Telescope, or NGST. The NGST concept was conceived as very ambitious. 7 years later, NASA took its first significant step towards realizing the most powerful telescope, as it tasked numerous agencies with researching the feasibility of such a telescope, and in 1999, NASA finally chose Lockheed Martin and TRW, which is now owned by Northrop Grumman, to kick off development of the first phase of the NTSG project. The NTSG was renamed as the James Webb Space Telescope in 2002 and began construction in 2004. 13 years later, they finished building the most powerful telescope ever made. Finally, on December 25, 2021, the JWST was launched into orbit, and after successfully unfolding its primary mirror, became operational. The James Webb Space Telescope, as said earlier, is 100 times stronger than the Hubble telescope. And this is not an exaggeration. Just look at the difference between the captured photos of the Hubble telescope and the James Webb Telescope. The JWST's most distinctive feature is its hexagonal-shaped mirror that shines a bright golden color. It is 6.5 meters or 21.3 feet in diameter and has its mirror segments coated in gold, which has the highest reflectivity over a very wide wavelength band. It is also created with beryllium, a strong but lightweight metal that can endure extremely cold temperatures. To put into perspective, the JWST is so powerful that it can see a penny clearly at a distance of 40 kilometers, 24 miles, and can also see a football at a distance of 550 kilometers, 340 miles. The James Webb Telescope is the biggest telescope ever made, measuring up to 22 meters, 72 feet, and it is very far from our planet. In fact, it is 4 times farther from Earth than our moon. JWST aims to look deeper into space than ever before, as it can uncover what happened in the first 4 million years after the Big Bang, and it will also see the first light in the universe, which its predecessor, the Hubble, failed to do. This year, the telescope started its mission, and it sent its first ever captured photo of the universe, a photo that will reshape the future of space science, and it was revealed by the US President himself, Joe Biden. On 12th July 2021, US President Joe Biden unveiled the first science-quality image the James Webb Telescope has ever taken. The image is the deepest infrared view of the universe to date, and it took 12.5 hours of observing time on one of the telescope's 4 instruments. The image, known as Webb's first deep field, is a photo of a galaxy cluster named SMACS 0723, which consists of thousands of galaxies, including the faintest objects ever observed in the infrared. NASA described the photo as a tiny grain of sand held at arm's length. compared to the size of the whole universe. This image shows the galaxy cluster SMACS 0723 as it was 4.6 billion years ago. The light from these galaxies took billions of years to actually reach us. US Vice President Kamala Harris described this breakthrough as a new chapter in the exploration of the universe and said it was looking at the sky with a new understanding. And indeed, she was right, as the telescope is continuing sending images that shock and excite the whole space industry. The next images NASA revealed caused quite a stir, as they unveiled JWST's photos of the NGC 3372, also known as the Carina Nebula, which is a dark, giant cloud of dust and gas in the Milky Way galaxy and is 8,000 light-years from Earth. This colorful landscape of valleys and mountains stippled with glittering stars is the edge of a young, star-forming region captured by the James Webb Telescope in infrared light, and is the first time humans have seen this region of the Milky Way. NASA also said that the tallest peak in this image is almost 7 light-years high, and these mountain-like regions are called cosmic cliffs, which left space fans in awe as the image unveiled how mysterious yet magnificent the universe really is. Jupiter's photos left scientists wonderstruck. The telescope continues to send mind-blowing images of the universe. This includes the highest quality photos ever of the biggest planet in the solar system, Jupiter. Photos of Jupiter are quite common, as numerous probes were sent to investigate the gas giant, but these latest photos from the Webb telescope left scientists and space fans in awe. The infrared photos of Jupiter captured the planet's auroras, moons, and even its famous Great Red Spot as we've never seen it before, and it is stunning. Other photos included Jupiter's 2 satellites as well, Amalthea and Adrestia. A planetary astronomer, Imke Depeda, said that they didn't expect the photos to turn out that good. They were amazed by the telescope's capabilities, as it also revealed its biggest discovery that could lead us one step closer to finding life in the lonely universe. One of the major goals of the James Webb Telescope is to find evidence of life in the vast universe, and one way to achieve this is by observing Earth-like exoplanets. These exoplanets are planetary bodies that are outside the solar system and usually orbit a star like the Sun. One of them is the gas giant Wasp 39b, which is 700 light-years away from our planet Earth. Scientists in the past have detected water vapor, potassium, and sodium, but for the first time in history, scientists at NASA, with the help of the Webb telescope, found an abundance of carbon dioxide in an exoplanet outside the solar system. NASA considered this a breakthrough for humanity, as it is also important for understanding an exoplanet's origins and will unravel many unanswered questions about our universe. It will serve as a measurement of the Webb telescope's capabilities to decipher the atmospheres of rocky Earth-like planets. Is this our first step to discovering life beyond Earth? What's next for the James Webb Telescope? The world has gotten a glimpse of how powerful the James Webb Telescope really is,